Welcome back to the desk. Now, one of the biggest impacts of climate change is on water, which in turn affects sustainable development and security. But in contrast to internationally coordinated information about rising temperatures, data on water resources is patchy and incomplete. This year's World Water Day and World Meteorological Day are therefore both dedicated to climate and water. One of the underlying themes is that we can't manage what we don't monitor and measure, a message which has become unfortunately too familiar in the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. How is Ghana preparing to tackle these issues? Big question, and we're joined by Dr. Techi Obeng, his Chief Program Officer of the Climate Change Unit of the Environmental Protection Agency. Good morning to you, sir, if you can hear me. First of all, tell us Ghana's climate change plan.
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing me on your program. Actually, water is one of the sectors which is currently being affected by climate change. Looking at the climate change situation, increases in temperature and reduction in rainfall. If you look at Ghana's data, rainfall, as we see in the 60s, has really reduced, though it was declined seriously in the 1980s, where we have our serious drought. It seems to be improving in the 2000s, but the improvement is not as it is in the 60s. So climate change has really affected our water resources. Currently, due to high evaporation, our major river basins have really declined. And as now that we are going to the dry season, in February, March, April, most of our small rivers are dried up. So because of this, Ghana has really put up plans in collaboration with the global communities in trying to combat effects of climate change. So initially, the global community put what we call the Kyoto Protocol. The Kyoto Protocol was for the developed countries only to manage the climate change menace because the causes were from them. But from 2015, the global community came together and we came out with plans which we call nationally determined contributions, which means that each and every nation will come out with its own plans, determined plans, which will help reduce the impact of climate change. So we call it NDC, Nationally Determined Contribution. But in Ghana, when you mention NDC, it's a whole thing altogether. So we call it Ghana or GHNDC, Ghana NDC.
So we do have a homegrown plan.
Yes.
Okay, so question is water and sanitation featuring on this particular plan?
Yes, so we have water and sanitation, which has also been embedded in this national plan.
Okay. Have we begun implementing, and where are we in the implementation?
Yeah, if you look at the NDC implementation plan, we have what we call the readiness phase. The readiness phase was immediately from 2015 up to 2020. We are actually putting what we call the implementation plans. That is, after we drew the plan for the national, for the individual countries, the country also came down and devised what we call implementation plan. We have the national plan, and then after we got the national, we also decided implementation plan. So all the sectors have implementation plan for implementation of the nationally determined contribution. So we have completed with our NDCs. We submitted it to the GHNDCs. We submitted it in 2015 as it was. And then from 2015 up to 2020, we have done what we call the implementation plan. So each of the sectors, specific activities that it's supposed to do. So the energy sector, what specifically the energy sector is supposed to do. So, the water sector, what water sector is supposed to do, have been put together as implementation plan, which we are working on it today.
Okay. So I see you say supposed to do. So we are yet to actually get any action going on the ground? Is that the understanding?
Yes, currently we are in the what you call the readiness phase.
Okay. Does that also include decentralization, or we just have one central point where implementation will be done from?
No, we actually put it in sector basis. Each of the sectors, like let's take water. Water is a sector which has national actions under the nationally determined contributions, and there are institutions under the national sector, the water sector, which are implementing this in a decentralized level. Each and every district is supposed to implement this. So we have the NDPC has incorporated the national actions into the medium-term development plans. So we have our NDCs, we have implementation plans, and then the NDCs have been integrated into the medium-term development plan.
Great.
In which all the district assembly are implementing this climate change actions.
So this is now? Is this happening today?
Yes, it's happening today.
Okay.
So if you look at some of the actions that are being implemented now by the government, some actions which is being implemented now by the government, one of the water resource actions are trying to do small to medium term hydro dams.
Okay. So my final question is, I appreciate, apologies, I don't have a lot of time. I'm just wondering, because we can't control climate change. This is a global thing. I'm wondering if the measures that you've outlined, what you say has been decentralized, we're feeling the effectiveness of it, because we see the rains come down and wash crops, wash entire communities, and destroy sanitation and hygiene, essentially, in some communities.
Yes. So actually, like some of the actions that have been put in place so far as Ghana is concerned, like I said, small and medium-term dams. We also have the one dam, one village, all climate change projects that the government is implementing. We also have affordable rural and water systems. Each and every community, decentralized community, are trying to come out with water systems that will support them when we come to climate change impact. When there's no water, there are systems which can take place. In the urban, we are putting up resilient infrastructure, like making of drains and other major drains, and making of water systems. When it comes to water, we are also Kosomo Dam, which are also reducing. We are also putting retrofitting in terms of gas and other infrastructure to make sure that all the water-related aspects which are being affected by climate change is taken care of. So these are some of the actions.
These are very fine things that you outlined. Surprising also to hear that the one village, one dam is actually part of this whole GNDC implementation. But when would we fully appreciate these efforts?
No, the project has all of these projects have started already and is being implemented, and it's a process. Financial mechanisms have been put in place. All the institutions, what we are supposed to do, all the institutions, there's a global financial mechanism that they have to apply for funds so that they can implement this. All the sectors, all the activities that have been outlined, the sectors are supposed to apply for funds through the national budget and also through global financial mechanism to get these funds to implement them. So there are very, very things that are ongoing, and the impacts are being felt. In most of the areas which we are implementing, people are feeling that, like I'm saying.
Okay, so Sacha, please give me an example. Please give me an example of how people are feeling the effectiveness of what you're putting in.
Yes, like we have one project in the north which we call the Adaptation Fund. Over the years, we have actually restored a number of boreholes within the community, because water issues is very, very important, especially in the north. We've done a number of which the community is currently using. There's also a number of dams that have been also refurbished. The dams which were not working, they're all refurbished. There's also access to water. There are also community water users, which we are all trying to rebuild their capacity, create awareness so that they will know that now water is not so available as it used to be, so that they will use water efficiently. These are all structures that have been put in place to help adapt to the situation we find ourselves in.
Well, we'll make the necessary follow-ups with these revelations. But we thank you for your time this morning. That's Dr. Tichi Obeng, his Chief Program Officer with the Environmental Protection Agency.